Hello, hello. Hey, I'm Corey Thompson, co-owner of Above Board TV, co-host of Board Games Insider, and author of the interview site Dice Tower Dish. And did you know the number of visitors in Orlando each day is equivalent to the entire population of Atlanta, more than any other city?
Woo!
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am Beneeta Kaur, a board game Twitch streamer and social media consultant. And Orlando averages 230 sunny days a year and is home to more than 100 lakes.
That sounds lovely. I'm Daryl Andrews, a freelance board game designer living in Toronto, Canada. I also do consultant work for Maestro Media. And fun fact, Orlando made a deal with the film Lethal Weapon 3 to dramatically blow up its old city hall for the start of the film.
That is awesome. Welcome to Nerdabout, Episode 8, Orlando, brought to you by the good folks at Lucky Duck Games. Delivering soon from Lucky Duck and Van Ryder Games is the cooperative occult act-driven adventure game, The Dark Quarter. Kickstarter gems Unconscious Mind and Andromeda's Edge are coming to retail through the Big Duck, and Unconscious Mind should have early copies for sale at BGGCon next week and PAX Unplugged in December. Nerdabout is a show about travel, food, culture, and general tomfoolery. We are three good friends within the board game industry who, through flippancy, festivities, and fantasy, have ended up in some absolutely amazing cities. So, what you been up to, Daryl?
Well, it's been a crazy little bit of time. So I've mostly been running around trying to get prototypes ready because I am on my way to Chicago tomorrow for the People of Play convention and the Taggy Awards. Maestro Media has a nomination for their Smurfs game, so I'm representing them, and then headed to Orlando, ironically, next Tuesday, and then to Dallas on Thursday. So it's been busy, just doing laundry, getting ready for all these trips and meetings.
Well, I've got yet another new background behind me because I'm in LA at Above Board Studios, and we've taken over office space next door to the film studio, and their decorating choices were just stellar. So I took over an empty office with some really jazzy stuff. And then we're looking forward to, from Above Board, the Bee video, the infamous playing a board game while covered in honeybees, is going to be dropping in about a week on the 12th.
I'm excited.
Then right about that time, I'm also heading to Dallas for BGGCon.
I'm excited for that video, Corey, but also like the whole time I'm going to be watching the video with like my eyes like half covered because that sounds like my nightmare. Everyone, hello. It is election day in America. I voted, Yo Vote sticker. So this is your reminder. If you're in the States, go vote. Doesn't matter if you're not in a swing state. Your vote matters. It's important. Do your civic duty. Okay. Now I want to get off my platform. I will also be at BGGCon next week. So hit me up to play games. I'm very excited. We mentioned from our sponsor, Lucky Duck Games, that Unconscious Minds will be available. I already have like a game of Unconscious Minds scheduled to play because I haven't played it yet, and I'm very, very excited.
Oh, it's so good.
My schedule.
I've heard it's really good. You are not scheduled. It is before you get there. I'm so sorry.
How dare you? Well, talking about geeky things like board games, Beneeta, what geeky things are there to do in Orlando?
What is there not to do? So some of the stuff we wanted to talk about. Well, the first one is MegaCon. So it is a huge fan convention in Orlando, which celebrates comics, sci-fi, horror, anime, and gaming. It is a yearly convention and it attracts over 140,000 people in 4 days, which is a lot. For context, Gen Con is like 75 to 80,000. So this is a ginormous number.
I've always wanted to go, and I've heard really cool things, especially on the anime side. So but I've heard not as much gaming, but I just want to go for geeky things. So
I would go because the sci-fi and anime sounds really interesting because I do love like a lot of sci-fi things. So speaking
Totally.
speaking about sci-fi and space, Daryl, tell us about Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, I mean it's technically not Orlando, but we're cheating. It's in the area. Whenever we focus on a city,
Vicinity.
it's just the greater Orlando area. It's about an hour away to Cape Canaveral. I've been twice. I remember, especially as a kid, really wanting to go because for anyone who doesn't know, my dad passed away when I was really young, and I had pictures of my dad at Cape Canaveral. So I always wanted to kind of go see that and feel like a connection with him there. He was a big space fan, a space nut. And so, for anyone who doesn't know, Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral is the primary launch site for human-specific space flights. It features, you can go see the launch pad, you can see the mission controls, there's interactive exhibits, there's even chances to like meet and talk to or listen to lectures from former astronauts, see some of the historical spacecrafts on display. I thought it was super cool. I took tons of photos. I remember when I went with Tanya, she finally was like, "How many photos do you want of you with that same?"
You're like a lot.
A lot. So I loved it. I think if you're a nerd for space, that is a must go to spot.
Some of the other must go to spots, in my opinion, is the theme parks. We're going to be talking about theme parks like throughout the whole show, but I really wanted to highlight two super nerdy theme parks. So one, we got the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. So it's actually split into two very distinct immersive areas. You have Diagon Alley in Universal Studios, and then you got Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventures. You can buy like a day, if you just want to go for one day, you can buy a day pass, and then you have the Hogwarts Express that goes back and forth between the two parks. FYI, the ride is different both ways. Like, you're going to see different things each way. So I very strongly recommend you go both times so you can see it. And then, you can go experience Hogwarts Castle, the Forbidden Journey. You can shop for wands. You can have butterbeer. It's just really magical. And butterbeer, you can have hot and cold. I recommend trying both because they taste very different. And if you go to different restaurants in Harry Potter World, if you just like start paying attention, you'll hear like people like talking and muttering. And also you'll hear like moaning Myrtle in like the women's bathroom, at least. I don't know if it's in the men's bathroom. I'm assuming yes.
You haven't been? You didn't research
not
it?
in the men's bathroom.
Right.
No, but I've been to the women's, and there is moaning Myrtle in there. It is just like a very cool immersive experience. I absolutely loved it. So if you're a huge Harry Potter fan, strongly recommend. And then we also have Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which I have not had the pleasure of going yet, which I am very sad about. But, it's on the planet Batuu, and it features interactive attractions like the Millennium Falcon, Star Wars-inspired food and drinks, and you can build droids and lightsabers. Like, I want to go. If I go, I want to do it and like have like the whole like lightsaber. Like you pick it out and there's like a little ceremony. Two of my friends have done it and it just looks so cool. And I'm planning on visiting in California and doing it. But it is
blue milk, baby, blue milk.
Yeah, I want to try the blue milk. I just want to do everything. And apparently there's like little small like interactive things where if you go to the bartender and you say some certain words, they'll like slip you some stuff. Not drugs, guys. But it just seems so cool, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I just haven't had time to like go to it, but it just sounds amazing.
Scoop the coasters. That's what I grabbed. I grabbed a bunch of the coasters. They were cool.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So another really big event in Orlando is, of course, Dice Tower East. I worked for Dice Tower for quite a long time, and I can say Dice Tower East is a very fun game-playing convention. It's in a nice locale. The people are very friendly. There's huge amounts of games. There's a great library. The space is incredible, and you get a lot of industry presence there. So it's every July, Dice Tower East in Orlando. It's worth the trip.
Yeah, I've gone a few times now. I've always enjoyed it because you just play games like all day, and the Dice Tower West library is like pretty good, and they've also like upgraded a lot of their games with like different bits. Like Le Havre is a game I only play once a year. But then this year I played it at Dice Tower East a few months ago, and they had the upgraded bits, which are more expensive than the actual game.
Oh yeah,
But like it makes you want them anyway.
that's what we do.
Cool. That's what we do. Some other cool things that you can see in Orlando. You have the Crayola experience.
Oh,
You
that's
can
wild.
create your own Crayola crayon. You can do melted wax art. You can explore a 2-story playground. It also has the world's largest crayon, which is Bluetiful, which weighs 1,352 pounds. It measures 15.6 feet, which is ginormous.
And did you know that crayons have a patented smell? They put a smell into Crayola crayons, and if you smell it, you instantly recognize it from childhood. So it is a patented smell.
Well, smell is definitely like a strong like memory factor, so that's very good marketing. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Randall Knife Museum, which is a collection of over 7,000 knives, and you can explore different knives, historical artifacts, and learn about the evolution of knife making techniques. Gotta say, I've never been to this knife museum. Don't know if I really want to, but there's all different people.
I want to go. That sounds like, what's that TV show where they make like the knife?
Oh, Forged in Fire.
Yeah, it sounds like Forged in Fire.
Wild.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Well, I am very happy to introduce our guest for this episode, Master Stephen Bonacore. Stephen, Master. He made me say that. He has a rider with very strict rules. So, Stephen Bonacore was the original founder of Stronghold Games, publisher of great games such as Terraforming Mars, Great Western Trail. Stronghold has since merged with Indie Boards and Cards, and Stephen is now in his retirement, creator and host of Board Game Insider since 2015, and he's a board member of the World Series of Board Gaming. He's a chairman of the board at Play to Z Games with Zev Schlesinger, and he is also acting as COO of Play to Z. So welcome, and thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I've been hearing all about this. Corey does not shut up about this new podcast, even when he's on our podcast or my podcast, Board Games Insider. But no, thank you very much. This is a pleasure to be here, and you guys I consider you guys very close friends. So this is really cool.
It's very fun. So you are our Florida man expert for this episode. So we're expecting absolutely fantastic.
You're our go-to phone a friend.
Phone a friend, Florida man. Okay, Florida man Bonacore. That's what you're calling me here. Okay, that's interesting.
We don't want to call you Florida man because those have like very specific connotations.
No, you are the Podfather. We know
the Podfather of gaming.
The Podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
All right, so we've got a list of questions for you, and we usually open up with, tell us something absolutely fascinating about Orlando that we don't already know.
But to set the scene a little bit, right? So I live in Boynton Beach, Florida, okay, which is 2.5 hours from Orlando, 1 hour from Miami, right in between. So I know Orlando well, but it's not like I'm a native there or I've never lived there, but I go fairly regularly. So keep that in mind. I don't know everything about Orlando, but I do like Orlando. So first thing, something fascinating about Orlando. Okay, well, Gatorland opened in 1949, and it's known as the alligator capital of the world, and it's a unique theme park and wildlife preserve dedicated to alligators and crocodiles. It was the first theme park in Orlando.
What? Not Disney?
Not Disney. How about that? Gatorland is still there, still operating. I was there, I think, when I was young. I have not been back since.
That's fair.
Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, I haven't been to this one.
We've got to go.
Okay, so Stephen, what was your greatest Florida man moment or closest alligator encounter? I want both answers.
Wait, Beneeta, did you not just say I'm not Florida man, and now you're giving me the question about what's...
No, you are Florida
It doesn't have to be
man,
related
and now
to you,
we
yeah.
need your greatest moment as Florida man.
All right, so here's a little factoid, so to speak, about Florida man, right? Everyone sees that. Florida man sticks his head in the mouth of an alligator and loses his head. Florida man jumps off of a bridge, all those kind of crap that you see. Do you know why that exists? It's not because there's more crazy people here. Trust me, there's a lot of crazy people here. But it's because the laws in Florida, the freedom of information type laws in Florida are very open. If you jaywalk and you get a ticket, it's on the records and somebody can pick up that information. So just know that. There's not more crazy people here than in most states.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, my friend. And I've been a lot of places like you. And while there might be our share of crazy people here, I can point to some in my backyard over here or very close. We don't have as many as some other places. But anyway,
So it's easier to find like people's like infractions, and
It
that's why
is
it's more
easier to
common
find
Okay.
stupid things that people do in Florida.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
So, what's my favorite alligator encounter? That's because I don't have any exact. I have never seen anybody do something so dumb that they would become a Florida man type of meme. Alligator encounter. So I have yet to see in the non-wild, I guess is a better way of putting it, right? Like walking down the street here on my street. I've yet to see an alligator in Florida like that. However, there are many pictures of alligators that you will find, like in our Facebook group for the neighborhood and the greater area of Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
Because they're here, they're all over. The rule in Florida is if you see a body of water, assume there's an alligator in there. And that doesn't mean there is, but you got to respect alligators. It's just an important thing to do.
Yeah.
You got to be safe, right? So I've never seen one in the wild, but I've seen them in a number of like zoos in the area, and I have seen them at the Murakami Japanese Gardens. And I'm going to give a huge shout out if you're.
I went with you once and saw one there.
Thank you. Yes, Murakami Japanese Gardens is an unbelievable multi-hundred-acre Japanese gardens in Delray Beach, which is just south of here. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you're ever, most of the way toward Miami, though, and you're never going to do an episode on Delray Beach or Boynton Beach, I'm sure. Check out the Murakami Japanese Gardens. We are members of this place, so it's really, really great. I saw one there. And another great fact is there's a 5-foot rule in Florida. Alligators will not be relocated until they are at least 5 feet long. So in other words, you can call up alligator control. Yes, we have alligator control here.
Yep.
You can call them up, and if you report a 4-foot alligator or a 4.5-foot alligator, they'll say, call us back in 6 months.
Wow.
I kid you not.
Doesn't it just make sense to relocate them when they're
makes
easier
sense.
to relocate?
No. Wait till they're a biggie.
Wait until they're a danger to
It's scary.
small dogs and little children, basically.
Wow. Well,
I love
Chris
it.
from Lucky Duck actually told me if I ever need an alligator under 5 feet, he's my man.
Oh,
So,
okay. There you go. Of
I thought
course,
it was random.
of course, Corey would have a person.
He's got an alligator guy.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Well, tell us. I mean, try to do it in 5 or fewer words. It's not a hard rule. Why Florida is superior to New Jersey?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I left New Jersey. It's going to be 8 years at the end of this year. Yeah, it's amazing. Already 8 years down here, almost. And I never look back. I miss some family there. My mom is still there. A couple of brothers. I miss my friends. But the rest of New Jersey, I don't miss too much.
I just love putting word restrictions on Steven because he can't.
Well, am I supposed to literally just say 5 words?
No. But I love that Corey was counting your words while you were talking.
He was counting, then he just like gave up. He's like, well,
You
I stopped at
Yeah.
55 words.
Don't worry about Corey. This is about you.
I have to look at the show notes. I can't look at this because now I'm looking at all of us. I got to look at the show notes here.
No, you're good. You're good. So what are some of the perks since you've
5
moved?
words.
Oh no, you're good.
It's okay.
The weather, The
Okay.
cost of living, that's one word. Which has gone up quite a bit, but it's gone up everywhere.
Right.
Taxes, no state taxes down here, and even property taxes are lower. The attractions, because it's not only Orlando, there's a million things to do and see in Florida, and of course the weather's always good, so you can always go do these things. And the fifth thing is the weather again. It's wonderful down here. We just love it. Sure, it's a little too hot and humid during the summer, but we have 9 months.
Just a little too humid.
That's what AC is for.
That's pretty
We
funny.
have 9 months of gorgeous weather, and we just spend a little extra time indoors when we don't want to sweat our butts off during July and August and that. So,
But you all don't get a fall.
Yeah.
And
I
that
hear
is
there's
so
an average
sad.
of 230 sunny days a year.
I heard that too. I wonder who said that earlier today.
It's called the Sunshine State for a reason, baby.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, what is your favorite restaurant in the general Orlando area?
Yeah. So the one that I picked here was Morimoto Japanese in Disney Springs.
That's nice.
Now, it's a big shout out for the whole complex of Disney Springs as well. I really like that area. It's their free area of restaurants, tiny bits of attractions and shopping that's associated, of course, with Disney itself. But Morimoto's is a really special restaurant to me. It's a modern Japanese, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
And Morimoto, most famous Japanese chef maybe in the world.
The original Iron Chef.
He was the original of the Iron Chefs. He was Iron Chef Japanese back in the day, because they had Iron Chef Chinese, Iron Chef Italian. They had all the different types of chefs. And yeah, I just love that place. The food is amazing. It's a little pricey for the average person, but it's not as expensive as like Morimoto, New York, or something like that. And Nobu, that's Nobu.
Napa,
He was
Morimoto
Yeah.
Napa.
and Corey and I, you and I went to, wasn't it Morimoto in
Yeah, we
Philadelphia? Yeah,
We
that's
did.
also another one. That was
okay.
his first he owned that one. He didn't own Nobu in New York. So anyway, Morimoto is definitely my answer there. And another shout out for Raglan Road, which is an Irish restaurant in Disney Springs. Ireland, not known to be a major cuisine of
I've
the
been to
world.
this one.
Yeah.
But however, I love this place. It's really cool inside, very Irish pub-like, and on the outside they have like live Irish Celtic music going on at various times. So very fun place.
And they have a stage inside where they do like little shows and stuff. I've been here a few years ago. It was fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
And our last question for you for our section here, and then we will have a final question at the end of the episode. But what is there any recommendation? What's your favorite thing to do if you're in the Orlando area?
Yeah. So I heard. Right. So I heard you, Daryl, shout out the Kennedy Space Center. So I'm going a little far adrift. It's like, I don't think it's an hour. You said it's an hour away. It's like 45 minutes to the coast. You go to the beach essentially on the highway directly from Orlando east to get to the Kennedy Space Center. Now, you said you were there when you were a kid. Is that right? Is that still correct?
Yeah.
Is the last time you were there?
It's been a long time.
It's a completely different place, because I also went when I was a child.
Yeah.
It is
But there were
astonishing.
no rockets when you were a child.
There were no rockets. Yes, there were. Yes, there were. This guy is so old that I do remember Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. I was 8 years old at the time, and it was that's my space claim to fame. I begged my parents to stay up, and it was pretty important time to do so.
Absolutely.
Anyway, the thing is that it is literally a mecca to space exploration and space science, and they have upgraded it constantly, year over year. And as Daryl, as you mentioned, it is the home of rocketry for the United States, without a doubt, and really for the world. More rocket launches from there than any place. So you might get lucky enough if you do visit to see one. But even if you don't, that's not the point. They have the most unbelievable rocket garden that you see, where it has every major rocket that's ever been used to launch people and satellites into space. They have one of the original space shuttles, the Atlantis, in that in an area that you can go see, and the reveal of it is amazing because you do this kind of thing, and then it reveals and you see it. It's incredible. And they've even created a new place called I can't remember it, but it's now a new attraction that's based on all of the stuff to the future, right? Kennedy Space Center was always dedicated to things that happened in the past, but
Right.
now, not Galaxy's Edge. That's
Star Wars.
but it's
Is our future.
it's Gateway. The Gateway. That's it.
Gateway.
It's the Gateway. It's called, and it's literally now all about what SpaceX is doing and what Lockheed Martin is doing and all this stuff and how we're getting to Mars and how we're getting back to the moon. All of this stuff and all of these exhibits to show the things that are happening now and going forward. Cannot talk about it enough. I love Disney. I love Universal. But when I'm up in that area, the number one thing I do, I go to the Kennedy Space Center, and I cannot tell you enough that that's the place you want to go. And you can spend 2 days there, at least a day and a half. But if you want to go through the whole thing, spend at least a day and a half, and you'll really love it.
Well, that sounds exciting. You have sold me on the Kennedy Space Center because I actually have never been. But yeah, thank you, Stephen, for giving us some tips about Orlando. We will see you shortly for our last final question.
You're going to throw me into the backstage?
We're throwing you behind.
Beneeta,
Put you in the green room with your
sorry.
color separated.
Beneeta, you told me you loved me. I can't believe this. This is terrible.
Well, you're coming back in like 15 minutes, I promise. Okay, so Corey, tell us some of the cool sites and locations around Orlando.
Sure. So Orlando, you've already heard over and over again, Orlando is a convention center, theme park, luxury hotel mecca. If anybody wants a convention, this is where all the big convention centers are. And even when you land in Orlando, there's some really cool things to check out just in the airport. One of my favorite things is there's a statue in the Orlando airport called the Traveler. And it is a completely realistic statue of a really tired dude slouching on the floor. And you would walk by, and it just looks like a dude.
It looks like a real person. You all have to
it
Google
looks
this.
so real. So look up The Traveler. It is one of my favorite things about the Orlando airport. I try to seek it out if I'm there.
Absolutely. I also got to jump in here. One of my early childhood memories of visiting the Orlando area was around Christmas time. And I remember just visiting a ton of the hotels because they did amazing Christmas displays. So everything from like the Four Seasons, the Ritz, the Waldorf Astoria. I mean, obviously all these hotels are there all year long, but they had incredible Christmas displays. So that was my childhood interaction with Orlando, was obviously going to see Disney and things like that, but then getting to see all these amazing displays at Christmas time. And then it wasn't for a while that I had been to Orlando in non-Christmas time until Dice Tower East, which we gave a shout out to earlier. And we stayed at the Caribe Royale, which is an awesome hotel with a bunch of, villas and multiple towers. And I have to give a shout out. Anyone who knows me knows I love a good swimming pool. So I would often do as many times as I could. If I was doing a presentation or if I had to do a demo, I would then race back to the pool. It has a great waterfall and some hot tubs.
The hotel's set up with these giant towers and
all around
it. Pool structure in the middle of them.
It's awesome. So incredible. And my favorite thing to do is have business meetings in that swimming pool, so that later when I see those people at other conventions, I can be like, oh, it's weird to see you with so much clothes on for this meeting.
Of course you do that.
I've realized that I've never been to a Dice Tower East convention while you were there.
No.
I've been a few times now, but you've never been there because you've
not recently.
Been previously. And I'm just like, because I have barely spent any time in that pool because I'm inside the air conditioning.
Yeah. And you'll never see Daryl
like a
pool.
nerd. I'm playing board games.
Maybe we were at the same one. I was just in the pool the whole time.
Maybe.
And if you haven't had a chance, the villas are really cool. We keep casually just mentioning the villas at the hotel. They are separate little pretty much apartments. They have
Yeah.
kitchens and multiple bedrooms and living rooms, and they'll come in and do your dishes and clean up, and you can store food in the fridge. They're really, if you can get away with it, that's the way to stay. So the probably biggest, most famous hotel in the area is the Four Seasons Resort. This is a 5-star hotel with ridiculous luxury matched with ridiculous prices. It has its own water park, the Explorer Island water park. It's Disney associated. It has a Michelin-starred rooftop steakhouse called Kappa. It is really the most amazing place. And then going the other way, kind of the coolest hotel that I know about in the area is the Alfond Inn. This one is really amazing. It is advertised as an integrated art hotel experience. The hotel's owned by Rollins College, and the Alfond collection of contemporary art was donated to Rollins College, and most of the art is in the hotel. So it's just a really cool, it's like staying in a contemporary, it almost feels modern 60s art gallery. And it's
cool.
a very, very cool hotel.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Now, along those lines, there are so many theme park associated hotels. I looked it up real quick. There's more than 25 Disney hotels right now in Orlando. This is
amazing.
Attached Disney themed hotels.
Yeah.
And there's too many to mention, but the one that everybody talks about is the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. This is kind of the high-end Disney.
Yeah.
If you want to go for a Disney vacation and you want to stay in the lap of luxury, that's the place.
Yeah, I've always wanted to stay there. It looks so
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance yet, but I know so many people who have, and it's fantastic.
Wow,
So,
it looks fancy.
And there's so much fancy there. It's really amazing. And the prices for the fancy aren't as bad as you'd think, but they're still up there. So Orlando, kind of the world home for theme parks. There's over 18 big theme parks in Orlando. And as you heard our special guest mention, the very first was Gatorland. I just wanted to throw in a quick fact about Gatorland. It started in 1949, and its feature attraction was a 15-foot, 1,000-pound alligator named Bone Crusher.
Wow.
That sounds terrifying.
And to this day, they still have alligators there named Bone Crusher. Although, I mean, as a veterinarian, I do have to point out that they cheated a little bit. Bone Crusher was a crocodile, which are naturally bigger than alligators. But, don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
Wow. That is so. How could they lie to us?
Oh, they're big dinosaur lizards.
Big dinosaur lizards. So we have so many Disney World theme parks, obviously in Orlando. But you also have and if you don't want to go to a theme park, you have the downtown Disney district, which you don't need it. You don't need tickets, and it's a bunch of stores. And, there's always there's sometimes characters walking around. There's a lot of things to do there. But some of the theme parks that we wanted to shout out were Epcot, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. And like Corey mentioned, there's 25 Disney hotels. You don't also need tickets to go to those hotels, even though they're in the theme parks and attached to the theme park. And just how people go to Vegas and go through all the hotels, you can definitely do that for the Disney hotels, because everything Disney does is so thoughtful and precise, and their lobbies are just decorated so nicely to match the theme of the hotel. And again, you don't need a ticket to go see that. So,
and most of those high-end hotels have private entrances into the park, which is a nice little perk if you're staying there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond Disney, there's also all the Universal theme parks. We've mentioned, Beneeta talked about already talking about Hogsmeade and Dragon Alley and such at the Island of Adventure and at the studio. The two things I want to give a shout out for specifically when it comes to thinking about Universal is the City Walk, which is very similar to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
It's an open area of entertainment, lots of great restaurants and things to see. And then the last but not least that I'll mention, obviously, I tip my hand that I love swimming pools and water parks, but Volcano Bay is, in my opinion, the best water park in Orlando. Tons of fun. One of the newest built ones, and I highly recommend it.
So cool. Just throwing out a couple more out there. Legoland, Florida is amazing. If you haven't been to a Legoland, there's one in Southern California, one in Denmark, and Legoland, Florida. If you haven't been, it is so cool. They build entire cities and skyscapes and wonders of the world out of Lego, and they have rides, great for kids and adults. And Legoland, Florida is associated with the Peppa Pig theme park, which I know is at the top of everybody's theme park list.
Obviously.
You can't go without talking about Peppa Pig. And of course, there's old school theme parks as well. I have memories of going to SeaWorld when I was really, really little. And it's been around since 1973. So
yeah.
SeaWorld, everything you'd expect. It's a cool place just to see, like, it's kind of an interactive aquarium, really neat stuff.
And new parks are still constantly being built and being renovated. I mean, Universal has the Epic theme park that's coming, Epic Universe, I think it's called, and that's opening, I think, in like 6 months. So they're just constantly expanding and creating more and more experiences.
Yeah.
How cool. Well, when you're at a theme park, what do you want to do more than anything? So, Daryl, tell us about food and drink in the area in Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tricks and stuff within the parks, and I feel like we've already talked lots about the parks, so you can look up things like that. But where you really want to go, I know, is McDonald's, the fanciest of places.
Obviously.
Orlando is home to the world's largest entertainment McDonald's with a 30-foot tall Ronald McDonald. It was established in 1976, and it has an exclusive gourmet menu items within its 19,000 square feet of restaurant. So that is enormous. Yeah. So there's there, but I also know, Steven already talked about some of his favorite picks when it came to the Disney Springs area, but I know each of you have a favorite go-to in Disney Springs. Where do you love to go when you go to?
Yeah. So one of the places I like to go is inside the Animal Kingdom Resort area, and it's called Sanaa. And it is African cooking with like Indian flavors. And you can sit near the window so you can see like the animals roaming outside while you're eating this food. And it's really flavorful and really delicious. And I very much recommend it because it's just such a cool vibe. Like, you're eating really good food and then you're seeing animals like giraffes roaming around. That is not a common thing that you could do like most places in America. So it's very cool. That's where I like to go.
That is awesome. My favorite over in that area is Voodoo Donuts. So Voodoo Donuts, I find it fascinating. It originally started in Portland, Oregon, and it was this go-to hipster donut place. But it started as a really like filthy adult donut shop. I mean, the donuts were in rude shapes and they had rude names. And now it's become like a sterilized Disney event. But all that aside, they're great donuts. You want a donut covered with peanut butter and Cap'n Crunch, or one covered in Tang drink powder and frosting. They're so good.
Yeah, so I've had them in Portland, so yeah, they're amazing.
The Portland ones are still amazing, but it's pretty darn close in Disney.
Yeah.
And we have a comment from Stephen Bonacore from backstage that Boma at Animal Kingdom is his favorite, and which is also African inspired. So Boma and Sanaa are in the same hotel.
That's it. Boma. That's what I was trying to remember. I definitely have been. I've definitely been to Boma. It had an amazing peanut soup that I still think about.
It's a buffet.
It's a full buffet, and the peanut. I've been there a few times. It's Eric Lang's favorite restaurant in Orlando, so he always.
Both of them are in the same resort that I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was confusing.
But for some reason we decided to go to Sanaa instead of Boma. I'm very excited to try Boma next time
Yeah,
I'm there.
definitely check it out. Talking, one place that I would really like to go. I haven't been. We were talking earlier about a bunch of different hotels, and you can visit them for the decor. One that I want to go to for food wise is the Four Flamingos. It's inside the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress Hotel. It's one of the restaurants by celebrity chef Richard Blais. It just looks like a really delightful menu. I recently was in Orlando and researching, some of the Michelin recommended and Michelin winning restaurants, and that was on the list. The one that I did get to go to, and Corey joined me, was Papalama, which is a modern Peruvian restaurant that actually won one Michelin star. It was incredible. It was very small. The customer service was amazing. It actually is like an owner slash guest services combo. The couple runs everything themselves. They even imported fun drinks to try.
The two of them running it. It was so good.
It was delightful. My favorite, I think, Corey, it might have been yours too, was the massive shrimp.
Oh, they were so good.
Oh, they were delightful.
That sounds I'm like hungry now. That sounds amazing.
They were U10 count shrimp, so there were 10 per pound. So these things were just enormous heads on. The sauce was spicy but delicate and had all these overtones in there. It was so good.
Yeah, highly recommend. Another place which I actually got to dine with our special guest, Stephen Montecore, and a bunch of others, was at an Ethiopian restaurant called Salam. It's on the Michelin recommend list. It's just in an unassuming plaza. No one would know. Both of these restaurants were, you could just walk by and not know. Sadly, was only half full.
I went there with Zev.
Oh, nice. That's a small world. So it was an incredible meal. We obviously got, the injera and tons of different, family style platters. And at the end, we did a beautiful little coffee ceremony where they do the frankincense with the presentation. So really recommend there
too. Oh, I loved it. Ethiopian's one of my very favorites.
Yeah, same. I mean, we just did the Washington episode, and I was shocked to find such a good restaurant down in Orlando. Another kind of surprise food find that I had, less surprising because Latino restaurants in Florida are phenomenal. My favorite is this place called Q Canan, or it's a Q Kenan. Latin food, Venezuelan kind of theme. Again, just in a little plaza. I discovered it a number of years ago going down to Dice Tower East, and I think it is a must hit. It's a real surprise, small place that's just super lovely. Talking about, there's lots of chains and whatnot you can catch, but a new chain to me recently was going down for Kura Sushi. These are these fun sushi like conveyor belt restaurants. I'd never done that, but I thought that was
they're fun.
That was super fun.
Such a blast.
A sushi place though that I do want to shout out that's a little more high end. I didn't get to go, but it's on my wish list is Kabuki Sushi, a place that I love and adore. Even last time I was in Orlando, I went twice. Was 7 Bites. It's down in the heart of the Milk District. It's featured on Guy Fieri's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. It's especially known for its bakery. It's actually owned and run by some amazing women that are really deeply entrenched in the community. They do, for instance, on Sundays, rainbow Cinnabuns to encourage and support the LGBTQ community. I got to snag one of those, and they were delightful. Also, I got to give a shout out for the pies. I had a turkey pie, a pot pie, that was so good.
That sounds so good.
They have this iced tea, this orange blossom iced tea that I dream about. It was so good. When in the South, you got to get some good iced tea.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay,
and you were
I
talking
want to
about...
go to I want to go to so many of these restaurants. Like when I go, I just will DoorDash food, but I need to follow your recommendations and go to these restaurants. Like they sound so good.
Absolutely. You were talking about finding innocent little restaurants in strip malls, basically. And I did that the last time I was in Orlando for Dice Tower East. We found Pal Campo, the Puerto Rican restaurant, and the food was incredible. The place was loud and alive, and there was singing, and there was music, and food just kept flowing. It was so good. I'd never really had real Puerto Rican food before that, and it was amazing. I loved everything that I ate. It's Pal Campo, right by the Caribe Royale.
So we've been talking a lot about food, but let's talk about some drinks. Okay, so there are a lot of places to drink in Orlando, but one cool thing that you can do is, and we're going to go back to theme parks, you could go to Epcot and you can drink and eat around the world. And there's like itineraries that you can get. There's videos. So I did this a few years ago with some friends, and we just went through like every single little country. So if you're not familiar with Epcot, they have different sections that focus on a country. You have like Mexico, you have China, you have the UK, like you have France. Like there's so many. And then you can go there, you can get a drink there, you can get like a few different types of foods. And some of the places have rides as well. And fair warning, if you want to remember your experience, share your drink with your friend. Get a drink every single place. That's what I did. I shared a drink so I could remember my experience, but I was with people who did it. So, you know.
I don't want to call anyone out, but I got a few very happy phone calls during that trip. Maybe Ryan Bruns.
Okay, no names. But it's a really cool experience. Some drinks are obviously better than others. I think there was like, we were in the UK section. There was this like gross, like cherry, like alcohol drink. It was vile, but like maybe it was Canada. I don't remember, but it was.
Hey, no way. No. Maybe if you said maple something, that would be believable, but.
But yeah, so that's Epcot. You can drink and eat around the world. It is a really fun experience. I've done it once. I don't know if I ever need to do it again, but go try it one time.
Yeah, I want to do it one time. The other place that people are really shocked that I've never been, but I really want to go. It's part of the Disney Polynesian Village Resort, is actually Trader Sam's Grog Grotto.
Oh, I've heard good things about that place.
Yeah, I mean, I love tiki. I love cocktails. So that is on my must-hit list.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised you've never been. So yeah, Orlando has a lot of cool sites. It has a lot of cool food, hotels, a lot of geeky things. But we're going to bring back Steven. And we're going to talk about our final segment. First of all, Steven, any fact checking you have to do? Anything that we messed up on?
No, I think you got it. I love the fact that, thank you for like mentioning some of the things I was saying in the chat in the background there, but Boma and Sana. And I'd seen Sana at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I'd never been there. But Zev and I go every time we're together there. He loves that place. So you have an amazing number of great restaurants and other things in your list. So
that's good.
You guys are
important.
Yeah.
I know certainly for you two guys, especially. Every time I'm seeing you guys, you're going to another cool restaurant, especially you. Benita and I went to like a pizza place when we were hanging out at the World Series of Board Gaming. But
deep dish pizza.
these two guys are going to go to fancy schmancy places. I know that. But no, you guys did a great job. Thank you again for having me here. This has been fun.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so our final question, and we have to ask y'all because we just talked about like 1,000 different types of theme parks. So, what is the best theme park game? And Steven, we're going to have you go last so you can think about it. And I'll go first because the best theme park game, in my opinion, is called World's Fair 1893 from Alex J. Cavern. And no, so World's Fair in 1893 was in Chicago. It was like a very huge like exhibition that showcased a lot of achievements in science, technology, culture, and entertainment. The game itself is just a very like simple but elegant drafting, area majority, you got some set collection. On your turn, you are putting a cube down in like a board, which is 5 different sections. It looks like a Ferris wheel, and then you are just taking the cards. There's a little bit more to it, but that's essentially it. And there's different phases of scoring. I believe 3. It is a really good game. I feel like not enough people talk about it anymore because it's a little bit older. But if you get a chance to play World's Fair 1893, I would definitely recommend it because I really do enjoy that one. How about you, Daryl? What is your favorite theme park game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great pick. I think Alex Cavern is one of the more underappreciated designers.
He really is. I agree with that.
Really elegant designs. So that you have lots of good choices, but it's not hard to learn. They're very like kind of like unassuming, and then you get into them and you just love them. I have to obviously give honorable mention to Dice Theme Park, as I co-designed that with Adrian Adamescu, but I don't think it would be right for me to pick that one. And probably I shouldn't pick this one, but I obviously fell in love with it because I signed it when I had Maple Games. I fell in love with a game by Chris Leader and Ken. Why am I drawing a blank on Ken's last name? 2 of the most wonderful humans in the industry. They designed a game called Imagineers, and so I love Imagineers. I think it's again another under the radar theme park game. So that would be my pick. Is that obviously I liked it so much I signed it. So
okay,
Imagineers.
Fair.
I did worry that we were going to get sued for that name because Imagineers was a copyrighted term by Disney, but it we were small fish, so I don't think they were worried about us.
I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to go with Ark Nova. It's building a zoo, but what is a zoo if not a theme park that's only animals?
Cheat.
I love Ark Nova.
Zoos are really not theme parks, Corey. This feels like you're towing the line.
I'll help you, Corey. I mean, Beneeta just was talking about Disney and looking at safari animals out the window. So
yes,
that sounds a little Ark Nova.
There's also
the expansion to Ark Nova has Aquaria and things like SeaWorld.
Right.
So Ark Nova, definitely
really pushing
Ark Nova.
it. You're really pushing it.
Such a good heavy strategy Euro game where you select your action off of 5 cards. Whatever action you select then becomes the most expensive action to select later. So you are forced to cycle through your actions. You're building up your zoo, building up cages, getting animals, hiring people, putting animals into the displays, and putting pavilions and restaurants so that it's a theme park.
Okay. Well, I sense Bonacor, you don't agree. What do you?
No,
I sense the reaction there.
I don't agree that this should be allowed.
Okay.
In the theme park category. However, if it was allowed, it is by far the best game.
Hey,
it's amazing.
You're a fact checker, so you can strike that Corey is breaking the rules.
Corey has broken the rules. Corey has broken the ruls.
Okay,
He's disqualified.
Disqualified.
Cool.
0 points for Corey. But I'm gonna pick 10 Penny Parks by Thunderworks.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Polyomino placement game. Build your theme park. You got to make it work economically. So you have tile placement, you have worker placement, set collection. I haven't played this in many, many years, and I think I played it twice when I did play it. So I had to go look up. Let me go look up the theme park related games. And as soon as I saw this one in the list, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this was really good. So 10 Penny Parks, Thunderworks games, excellent. And Ark Nova doesn't count.
Corey, what are some honorable mentions? I know you found a few other options. If you weren't cheating, what were some maybe on brand theme park options?
So if I'm not allowed to pick Ark Nova, I would probably pick Unfair. Unfair is a really interesting card-driven game where you
feel like our rules right now are unfair?
I do. I feel completely your rooms are unfair. But honorable mention, we've got Dinosaur Island and Dinosaur World, the Jurassic Park kind of games. We've got Jurassic Park Legacy. We've got Dinogenics. We've got Steam Park, Meeple Land, Disney Haunted Mansion, Wishland. There's a whole bunch.
There's a
Grand
lot.
Carnival, Fun Fair. There's so many theme park games out there. It is a fantastic theme to base games on, like you said, Beneeta.
Yeah.
Lots of good ones. So, well, with that, our time has come to a close. So, before we go, I just want to give everyone a chance to kind of plug your socials. Where can people find you? We'll start with you, Steven. Where can people find the Podfather?
Well, you can catch me at Podfather Gaming, basically everywhere. Wherever you like to get your socials, X, Board Games Insider, my podcast with Corey and Ignacy Chevicek, which has been running for almost 10 years now.
Wow.
And we unpack the board gaming industry for you. So, we unravel the onion. So tell you
February
how things
is going to
work.
be 10 years. I just looked it up.
Wow.
Well, thank you
That's
so
very
much, Corey.
cool.
Corey only joined us 2 years ago, and
Okay.
he was a very, very
I'm the
good
intern.
addition.
Yeah.
He's the we call him the intern.
The intern helped you level up. It's funny because I now have these fun moments of people telling me things, and I go, "How do you know that?" And they go, "Oh, Corey was talking about you on the Board Game Insider." I go,
There you go.
uh-oh.
Isn't that great?
When I travel with Corey, then people will find out. I'm to blame for social.
The problem is everybody
He's
comes up to
blamed
me
for-
and says, "Oh, you're the guy in all the pictures with Daryl."
There you go.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. So anyway, the Podfather of Gaming all over social media, and particularly on YouTube, where I post Board Games Insider in video format, and occasionally, when the moment strikes, I'll put up some other interesting videos about the World Series of Board Gaming or previews of games and things like that. So
Very
thank you
awesome.
guys so much for having me. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate it.
I'm Corey Thompson. I can be found at Above Board TV on YouTube, DicetowerDish.com for interviews, Board Game Insider. You heard all about that. So I'm pretty easy to find out there.
I am Beneeta Kaur everywhere. It's how it's spelled. I stream on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming the BGG PAX U preview list. So come along with me, and we'll see which games I should actually think about, which games I shouldn't.
I need to watch that to know what my pre-planning for BGG. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, all those things, X, under my name. So pretty easy to find. And with that said, again, we want to thank Steven for joining us and being our expert for our episode. Thank you, Lucky Duck, for sponsoring us. Also, unfortunately, we will not be on next week. We will be postponing the episode, and we'll let you know. In 2 weeks, we'll be in our traditional time slot, but we'll be too busy traveling. I will literally be on a plane to Orlando while Corey and Beneeta will be going to Dallas. And
I'll see you guys in Dallas. This week I'm going to Boston to go to Lobster Trap. That's an invitation event out in the Boston area. So
I hear it's awesome.
I have 2 weeks straight of conventions. Game events. Yeah, excited.
All right, so learn some good games for us, Steven, and then teach us the best ones
You got it. Without a doubt.
With that said, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
See you ever.
Bye.